Hey fellow tennis nerds, I hope all is well. As you might hear, I'm talking through my nose. I have a bit of a cold. Just came from Austria, Kennelbach, the headquarters. We did an event, kind of a global review together with Tennis Warehouse Europe, and Head, of course. They were our hosts, and we had some amazing days together. We checked out the new Gravity, which is to be revealed in a month or so. So stay tuned, make sure you subscribe, and you always get first impressions on my patreon.com/tennisnerd. So I had a great time in Austria, but it was cold, colder than here in Spain, although Spain has also had some shitty weather recently. My cold is not really a huge shock. Anyway, I want to publish a review because I have been testing these two rackets for a while, the Dunlop FX 500 rackets, Tour and 500, and I haven't uploaded a YouTube video in a while. The reason being, we launched our app, me and Nikki. Check it out, there's a link in the description if you want to elevate your tennis, improve your game, 7-day free trial, so see if it's something for you. There will be more content coming all the time to this app, so check that out. So the Dunlop FX line is the power line of Dunlop, like the E-Zone, the Pure Drive, or the Instinct from Head. These rackets tend to be pretty stiff, pretty firm. Last generation was very nice, especially the FX 500, but it did I did feel it on my arm after a while, at least with a full bed of polyester strings. What they've done with both of these rackets now is they've reduced the stiffness, they've added a bit more of dampening material up in the hoop. Also, the 500 Tour has a slightly thinner beam, just ever so slightly, 1 millimeter in one place. So these rackets are made now to be more comfortable, a bit softer, not quite maybe the same power, but very good power level anyway. And I must say it was a step in the right direction. So let's start with the FX 500, which was my favorite. The specs you can see here, it's a 100 square inch racket, the kind of beam profile you're familiar with from power rackets, 26 millimeter at the most. Good power, and not the most open pattern, so I like that this string pattern is a bit denser in the middle, so it helps me when I'm hitting flatter balls to get more control. If you want more of an aerodynamic racket that gives you help with the lift of your shots, I would recommend looking at the Dunlop SX line, which is a spin line, or other spin lines, Head Extreme, Bubble Out, Pure Aero, and so on. But this is for you who need help with pace and depth, but the launch angle, meaning how the ball goes out from the racket, is not so high, as you can see with some rackets. So that's what I really liked the first time, and this is just an improvement overall, because the feel is softer without making you disconnected to the ball, so this is not like a huge dampening thing. You actually feel the ball really well. I felt very in touch with this racket, but it's softer, so the RA stiffness rating is lower, and you do feel that there is a bit more padding in the racket in general. So very nice feeling racket, very nice playing racket, great on serves, stable at the net. Baseline, you can hit some good shots as well. You get good power, and nothing super excessive, but very good power. Just felt very dialed into this racket. I strung it with Head Hawk Power, the new string from Head that is coming out in a while, at 24 kilos or 53 pounds. Did not feel any concerns in my arm, been playing with it for a bit and have no issues whatsoever. So it's definitely a more comfortable frame. That does not mean it's like something that would save an already bad elbow. If you have elbow concerns, I generally won't recommend rackets with a high stiffness rating or even a semi-high stiffness rating. Try to look for something that is more on the arm-friendly scale. Or if you play with a multi-filament string, you might be fine, but this is a full bed of polyester and that can create a pretty firm response, so be a bit careful with your arm. But overall, this racket just shown in many areas, so easy to use. Really loved it when just feeding or coaching, like I coach my father a bit and my mother now as well. So just for me to be able to feed, hit back the ball is just perfect. It's so easy to swing, manageable swing weight, good power, good sweet spot, just easy playability. But I could still generate some power when I hit with Daniel, for example, my doubles partner and the guy who beat me in the ITF finals a week or so ago. So yeah, just a very nice power racket. It sails up now to compete with another favorite of mine, the E-Zone 100. The E-Zone 100 is a bit more dampened, while this one is more direct, so a bit better feel. I would say maybe the E-Zone feels a bit more solid in stock form, but this one is whippier, faster, and you can really whip up some nice topspin with this one. So it's a tough choice. I like both of these rackets, the E-Zone 100 and the Dunlop FX 500 version 2. I just felt like they fixed what they needed to fix with version 2. And just made it into a better, softer playing racket. So this one is a big thumbs up. Really enjoyed the previous generation, felt it was a bit too stiff, but now they fixed it. So this is my favorite of the two, but let's now get into Dunlop FX 500 Tour. So the 500 Tour is for you who want more control, because it's a 98 square inch head size. So there are quite a few good rackets in the specification range on the market today. You have the ISO 98, which is many players' favorite, but you also have the new Pure Drive 98, which I haven't tried. So judging from what Henrik told me and has written in his review on tennisnerd.net, it sounds like a very nice racket too. Similar to the FX500, this one is significantly softer than the previous generation. They've dropped the RA stiffness rating a few points, and you definitely feel more of a flex in the string bed, which I really like. So I think this was a good thing. What has happened maybe, I don't know if they've changed the string pattern, because I don't have the older one here, or if it's just a flex of the string bed or something else, but the launch angle feels a bit higher on this one, so the ball wants to jump up even a bit more than the FX500 in my opinion. So I feel like it's quite open in the middle for what the racket brings. So that's something I struggled with from time to time. I found the 500 a bit easier to control, and I did string this one with a favorite of mine, Tourline Caviar 1.24 gauge at 23 kilos or 51 pounds. I could even go with a slightly stiffer string, because this one plays rather soft, this racket. What I did not enjoy with the previous generation was that it felt a bit unstable when you're at the net. You get heavy shots, the smaller head size hurts the stability. The swing weights on all the rackets we had for testing in the office, we got a bunch from pro players as well of this one, they were all very low. So this is around 315 strung swing weight, and I think that's a bit too low for a racket with Tour in its name. So I would definitely want to bump it up a bit, customize this frame, make it play a bit more stable with some more plow through. Swing weight is actually lower on this one than the 500, and that seems to be the case with most of the ones I've measured. For a Tour racket, I wish they would have added a bit more weight, but maybe they just wanted to maintain that whippy feel that you have, and that helps you control the ball on rapid swings. But that I struggled with a bit. Overall, a good stick with some customization. I think I really like this one, but I still gravitate towards more the easy use of the FX500. So that remains true even from my previous generation playtest, the V1. I prefer the 500 over the 500 Tour, and this is still the case, even though this has a lower stiffness rating and feels nicer, softer, but it definitely needs a bit of weight. But if you're an advanced player and you want more control than the 500, this one could be the racket for you. It's still a very good racket and an interesting rival to rackets like the ISO 98 or the Pure Drive 98. But compared to those rackets, I think some weight might come in handy. So overall, two good rackets. They have done what they needed to do to make them better, soften the feel. They could have added more weight on the 500 Tour in my opinion, because it's a Tour racket. But overall, the changes are good. They made them softer, a bit more responsive. Just a very good update from Dunlop. Makes them one of the more interesting power rackets on the market. I will update this if I notice something more when I start customizing the 500 Tour a bit more, change the strings. But overall, very positive first impressions of these two rackets. So if you're in the market for a power racket, you want something that's pretty fast through the air, whippy, and that can handle flatter shots a bit better than many of these power rackets, then I think you should check out the FX500. If you want a bit more control, a little bit softer feel, but you're open to customizing, I would check out the 500 Tour, but it's more for advanced players, I would say. Alright, that's it for this Dunlop FX version 2 review. It's hard to roast any rackets in recent times, because there have been some very solid updates to just fix what they need to fix. They seem to listen to a lot of feedback, which I think is great. And this is just upgrading something that was already a good stick. So thumbs up to Dunlop for that. That is all. If you want to support the work I do, please use the links in the description to check out any of my affiliates. I get a small commission if you do, at no extra cost to you. That is all. Have a nice day, and don't forget to play some tennis.